and the air was full of various storms and saints. Today seemed to perfectly encapsulate, in a literal sense, the storm portion of our favourite song, Various Storms and Saints by Florence and the Machine. In the afternoon, from somewhere in the belly of the beast, heavy winds began to escalate. The blue from the sky had long been destroyed since morning as the darkness from the cold day grew. Outside the world seems a violent place. The final note to this tempestuous symphony being a large window in our atrium, completely shattering on its own accord. Pieces of glass scattering in all directions on our hardwood floors. Meticulously brushing each fragment away from our line of walking. A web of intricacies was left from a large piece still in the corner of the frame that had not yet fallen. Songs often untie themselves, uncurling like flowers. We have held on to this song for many years, often falling in love with a song sonically before anything else, the instrumentation and vocals that build in a hauntingly beautiful way. But over time we begun to realise it felt different in our grasp, becoming more potent, uttering Cymbeline verses that would betoken our present state of mind. Ages that seemed like forever, stumbling through surroundings that metaphorically swayed, the monument of memories being teared down in our heads, wanting to stand outside and scream. But we hold on to ourselves, inner strength being the saint-like navigation that inherently reside in us all. We are teaching ourselves how to be free. Today is quite a cold day. We love this type of weather the most. We actually tried to get back into writing some fragments from varying story ideas we've had, in hopes that for whatever reason the cold could force us to conjure up some untapped imagination that we have been struggling to repossess this year due to our motivation that ebbs and flows. Perusing our Word docs, we see some forgotten tales consist of: a woman enhanced via alchemy becomes an assassin with the sobriquet Lunica. Vera Volpella, owner of the Sub Rosa Lounge, definitely haunted. Anna Moya, a detective, finds a diary containing entries from separate bygone eras. The last page mysteriously has 3 portraits from said eras that resemble her. Lastly, a hotel in the heart of New York City called The Mirage, overseen by its owner Mira, who has more secrets than the number of rooms. We find we frequently hold sentences captive in our minds, the turbulent chamber of perfectionism and deeming them not worthy to mark a page. It reminds us of that highly relatable excerpt from Susan Rebecca's Ugly, Bitter and True. The San Francisco therapist kept telling me I shouldn't be terrified of creative experimentation. I don't know what's going to come out of me, I told her. It has to be perfect. It has to be irreproachable in every way. Why? She said. To make up for it, I said, to make up for the fact that it's me. We need to remind ourselves to only focus on inhabiting the unbridled stream of creative conscious when in the act of creating something, to let it flow, to not judge what occurs. And any editing comes after, not before, not during, after, to stop amalgamating the 2 stages. Honestly, looking back, it's a mini miracle we somehow crafted our first attempt at a full story called The Origin Vault without succumbing to discarding it. Since then, we have come up with more story ideas we would like to write, but we are struck with overthinking. We feel like any artist could continue to poke at everything that they have created for all eternity. We certainly know we will personally always see things we would change when re-examining something we created, to try to find that elusive feeling of, is this perfectly done? But then nothing will ever be shared, as that feeling of finality does not exist in art. We suppose we just need to become much more comfortable with letting things go and simply going, just did that, be happy about it. A small regret we have is never actively keeping a diary at all during our adolescence. We say small because we try our best not to keep regrets. We found ourselves this year in particular wishing that we had personally kept ones from the ages of 13 to now. We wish we would have thought to ink our individual thoughts permanently on pages instead of just keeping it reserved in our heads all of the time, to immortalise what our teen selves were thinking. Sure, we remember who we were at that time, but we imagine it's always so amusing yet mysterious to read your own handwritten thoughts, the feelings that you have long detached from but for a moment can go back to. We've kept all of our school essays and homework on a USB stick, all the art we created, and certain pieces from rooms we once existed in daily. But there is something different about a notebook you wrote in late at night or random afternoons all to yourself. The pondered musings that were unimpeded. A chronicle of chained thoughts errant lines of poetry, little floral sketches, cryptic venting that we know for sure would have taken up the attached folio, and the subtleties of random lists. Whatever was important at the time for a teenager. You think you don't need to write anything down ever, but you do and you should, as it can give you the perfect kind of self-portrait of your perceptions and feelings. Recently, when browsing a bookstore, we came across a small section at the front dedicated to beautiful journals. Covers adorned in rich tapestry of patterns, we each bought one. We know they will serve us well, a talisman of guidance. It's officially nearing summer, however the expected vagaries of Australian weather will lessen the feelings surrounding the season's approaching entrance, as the sky today was still a silvery grey platter, and the vivid blush from our blooms are back, and the tree in our small atrium has its leaves. Unearthing one of our beloved pots for the evening, we make soup from leftover ingredients we have. Lots of veggies, cannellini beans and chickpeas, various spices, parsley, garlic, onions laced with tears, bane of our existence cutting onions, and some broth coalesced together. We consume it well. The rest of the night is consistent in its identity of simplicity. Our minds consume many things, often spending our evenings in our shared study sharing it with each other. We think of underrepresented or forgotten women philosophers, relegated to the shadows in comparison to their male contemporaries. We think about the Harmonist perfume site. It has a section dedicated to the phenomenon of the whooshing. The elements of fire, wood, earth, water, and metal have been used to elucidate everything from the cosmos to our internal bodies for centuries. A perfume that would entangle its scent to your body perfectly through elemental energy. We adore the immersion from this brand. We think of sweet concoctions briefly held captive in little moulds to be baked and brought to hardened life as moonflower cakes we must make for ourselves one day. We think about wanting to go to Livraria Lelo in Portugal, browsing the many ornate shelves of books, and wanting to dine in the romantic Konditoré Kumuf cafe in Slovakia. Without being able to actually play a single instrument, we find ourselves discussing album concepts and song titles with avidity, and the drawings on our iPads and notebooks we are finishing up as per usual too. Often bringing us out of this dwelling of research and shared thoughts is our beds, the need for sleep. It's 11:18 p.m.